Coach, a very warm day outside by Minnesota standards, but then again, it is still summer. Either way, the AC is working just fine at U.S. Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. The scene a short time ago, this crowd decked out in purple, and they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready for football, folks, as the Vikings get set to do battle with the Oakland Raiders. It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or two shy of the 30. This is Jalen Richard, the fourth-year man from Southern Miss. They'll only get a couple up to about the 30.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Carr gives to Richard. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it.
And it brings up 3rd down.
An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. From the gun, it's Carr. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that's caught inside the 30. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. Antonio Brown with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Raiders have taken the early lead. Now for the extra point, Daniel Carlson. And that makes it 7-zip Oakland.
Makes the score Raiders 7, Vikings nothing.
Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That'll be taken in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was, as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 16.
Watch safety creep. Watch safety creeping. Safety's creeping.
A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
Call it a gain of 4, but not enough. The punt team going to need to be summoned here on 4th down. So on 4th down, they bring on the Michigan man, Matt Wild, to kick it away. And they're going to fake it from deep in their own territory. And the gamble pays off. They get the first. A big 1st down and a fake punt. What a call. 16 yards. So they snap it straight to the up man. What's his responsibility? Normally, obviously, just to protect, but he's got to be a guy that can be pretty agile too, right?
Yeah, without a doubt, because you're talking about a guy, even in protection, he may have to slide up and down the line of scrimmage to pick up someone who comes through trying to block a punt. So you know he's got that ability to move. But oftentimes it's usually a running back, a fullback, someone who's used to having the ball in their hands, and he's able to pick up the first down. This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive, and like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Cousins to throw it this time. Oh, and he'll just get rid of this one deep. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a third down.
What I loved about meeting with these coaches before the game is we didn't even have to ask any questions. They told us that they were going to be aggressive and push the ball downfield. They weren't successful on that play, but look for them to try it again later.
On third down, Cousins escaping the pressure right. And that will be incomplete. That makes them now 0 for 2 here in the first quarter on third down conversions.
And now they'll look to their defense because they need them to step up so they don't fall further behind here in the early going.
And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over. They have to be thrilled with that first drive. They got them the touchdown. Now they'll be looking to make it a 2-score advantage here on the road.
And you know they spent all week in practice, in meetings, talking about taking an early advantage. Being the road team, going up a score, that takes the crowd out of the game and puts some doubt in the minds of their opponents.
And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. Shotgun now for Carr. Caught, Safarian Jenkins, right side. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a pickup of 17 and a first down. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. 2nd and 5 now. Carr, he'll rifle this one deep right side. Oh, nearly picked. And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop many defensively. Third down. Now keep in mind, they did have 3 interceptions last week. Couldn't quite come up with a first quarter pick that time.
But they had to like what they saw in terms of reacting when the ball is thrown. We had an expression when I played. It was called break on it. Every time the quarterback puts the ball in the air, break on the football, go make a play, and accumulate those interceptions.
Former defensive back. You remember those 3 interception games. It can be contagious, give you a little momentum.
They really can, and it doesn't matter whether it's one person or if you spread them across your entire defense, everybody wants a piece of that pie.
Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Wilson. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. 13 yards on his first catch. It's a first down as well. Carr now already at 100 yards passing in this first quarter. It's 1st and 10. To throw is Carr. Over the middle here to Brown. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Antonio Brown with his 2nd touchdown of this opening quarter. And the Raiders add 6 to their lead. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That's fielded in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was, as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Looking to throw on second down. Cousins. And he is going to go down. They sack him on the final play of the first quarter. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Come on, let's go. Hey, check Mike 33. Check Mike 33. Here we go, here we go. Yellow, yellow, yellow. 33.
No run call here. They'll look to throw instead. Lets it fly for Thielen. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
An excellent return that time, 26 yards. And the Raiders will have a short field to work with as they take over. A reminder, coming up later tonight, a lot of buzz about this game. The Browns, they've been doing some travel. Back-to-back primetime games for them. Monday night they were in New York. Now the Browns head to Los Angeles to take on the NFC champs, Browns and Rams. An 8:20 kickoff Eastern time, 5:20 in California. A big chunk of yardage there, 37 yards. And now the ball's out. Carr lost it. Fumble. And this belongs to the Vikings.
Well, give some credit to the defense. They forced the big play, knocked the ball free from him, but it's a cardinal sin by the quarterback. Know where you are on the field, and he just gave up at a minimum 3 points.
And instead of getting down, takes the contact. The turnover ensues. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. The tackle made by Nicholas Morrow.
Really shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to be hard to move people in this situation. You know they're going to bring the pressure defensively. So I remember playing in these spots, and my coach was always saying, don't be afraid to try and create a safety, too. They're going to bring pressure. When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The Vikings on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This will be 3rd and 6. Cousins under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Credit the sack there to Arden Key.
I think most quarterbacks would love to have the goal line actually extend up into the air and turn into a wall. They could put their back against it and know exactly where they are on the field so they don't end up in the end zone. Didn't do it on that play, but perilously close to the goal line.
A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And the Raiders will take over now, 1st and 10. And now Oakland ready to take the field. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, that could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But it's the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. 23 yards the pickup there. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down. Carr going to throw. Flushed out right. And he'll be out of bounds about a half to a full yard shy of the 5. That's now a pair of explosive plays in succession, both north of 20 yards. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Now Carr again. That is caught by Brown. Touchdown, Raiders. Third touchdown pass now for Derek Carr. And the Raiders add on to their lead. So not only is that his third touchdown catch of the game, he's done it here in the first half.
I'm not sure defensively what they're going to come up with to slow him down, because already we're seeing him run past, over, through guys in order to make these catches. And being able to try and shut him down at this stage of the game, it's going to take a lot of effort. So maybe it'll open things up for some other people.
Well, they better figure something out, and soon. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
No, but well, let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
On 2nd and 12, Cousins, incomplete. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down.
But one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. He's going to let this one go into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Gary and Conley. They're trying to resurrect his confidence. Last week was a disaster. 5 interceptions in that loss, and another pick there.
I played with a quarterback like this before, and he had a tough game, and the head coach said, I'll take him, I'll fix him. The very next game, he started out the exact same way. The head coach turned to the offense coordinator and said,
this is caught inside the 15. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Make it 4 touchdown passes now for Derek Carr. And the Raiders add 6 to their lead. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And a rout is on here in this first half. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. And now out comes Minnesota. Typically down to the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive. But they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. Call it a gain of 14 for the second play in a row. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. A first down carry now for Yeldon. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. A loss of 2 there, 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, as it turned out. Couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
The Vikings on 3rd down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12.
Watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screen. Mike check 33. 33. Oh, here we go. Oh, wide.
From the shotgun, it's Cousins. Lets it fly for Thielen. He's got it at the 15. One heck of a 3rd down conversion. 33 yards. For an offense that has not found the end zone yet, that's a big play.
There's the spark right there. The big play that they needed. Now they've got to go ahead and finish this drive and put this ball in the end zone.
It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Out of the gun, this is Collins. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Throwing, Cousins. And Rudolph has got it. The big tight end for a Viking touchdown. Kyle Rudolph. As the first half is winding down, and the Vikings are able to close the gap just a bit. Extra point up and good by Bailey, and it's now a 28-7 ball game. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. That's fielded in the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over. We're under 20 seconds to go in the half. I'm guessing the wise play here is be safe.
That is the wise play, because if you think about trying to fool them here, here's what you're facing. You're facing a loosened up secondary, playing a lot deeper than normal. So even if you run some type of misdirection, you're only going to fool them for a second or so. And guess what? They're so deep, they're really not going to be out of position. Take the knee, get to the locker room.
And Nelson's got him here right side. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. The final shot here before half for Carr. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. And we will skip the highlight show this week. Get right back to this Week 3 matchup. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he probably should have stayed in the end zone, as he'll muster a return up to only the 14-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line.
22 jet bomber, 22 jet bomber. Check 37, check 37. SOS.
Second half begins with a run by Yeldon. And a short gain across the 15 to the 17-yard line. It's the linebacker, Brandon Marshall, there on the tackle.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
That second down play nets a -4.
But these guys are going to chop into that deficit. They're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Cousins from the gun on 3rd. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
So possession goes over here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. A good starting spot for the Raiders as they come up 1st and 10. Carr now on 1st down. It's complete to Brown, right side. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. What a game it's been for this duo.
They remind me of a good comedy team. They know how to play off of each other so well. No matter how one riffs, the other's right there to pick them up, and they are shredding them in this ball.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Jonathan Cyprien. Thought he had the pick. Flag comes in for PI, so cancel it out.
Interference. Oh, a killer for them. Thought they had a nice play. Instead, they'll be marching off yardage against them.
Into the red zone. It's Carr. Left side complete. Safarian Jenkins. And he's brought down, but not before a really nice stiff arm to create a little space. A gain of 6 there on first.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Raiders take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash this one in. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
At their own 26-yard line.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 26.
Check, check. Lucky.
Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is. And really, a lot of the time, they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold them to no gain.
Hey, Echo. Check 33. Squeeze.
Now this time he'll look to throw. Looking for Thielen, but it's intercepted. LaMarcus Joyner with a pick. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25.
Check tight. Right there.
To throw again. Carr. That is caught inside the 5. 22 yards there, a 1st down.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players. Somehow came back to football.
That is caught by Brown. Touchdown, Raiders. From 3 yards out. And the Raiders take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash this one in. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. But I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the lead will swell by 1 more.
Daniel Carlson, the kickoff for the Raiders.
Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That's fielded in the end zone. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line.
At their own 17-yard line.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Flush to his right. He's got the connection over the middle to Diggs. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And Rudolph has it left side. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Now this throw caught left side. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defense.
And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Picked off by Jonathan Abram, the rookie from Mississippi State. And they will take over at the 26-yard line. Wow, between last week and this week, that's now 8 interceptions. 5 a week ago, now 3 here.
Well, he is so lucky that one of the defense coordinators I played for, a man named Ken Donahue, is not there right now. Because he saw that happen during his coaching career, and he grabbed the quarterback in the midst of a streak like this and said, tell you what, son, why don't you throw it to the defensive guys, and let's see if our receivers can intercept it.
Well, he's got to figure something out because the current formula is not working. He's going to let it go deep for the end zone. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's third down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Hey, Orbit.
On third and long, it's Carr. He gets it to Brown, complete. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
Antonio Brown, AB, with just one hand to complete that catch. Is there anything he can't do?
He has just continued to impress year after year, hasn't he?
He has never forgotten that he wasn't considered an elite receiver coming out of college. I think every snap he takes it upon himself to prove that he should have been.
Second down and goal. Carr. And he'll get this down inside the 5 to the 4 before he's out of bounds. 5 yards that time on the completion. And now it's third and goal. Well, they've been so good on third down all day long. Can they convert another here on third and goal? Now Carr. And this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Cameron Batson, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Raiders take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash this one in. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 23.
Hey, no, easy.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the rookie from Clemson, Trayvon Mullen. And his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line.
Mike. Down. 180. You're mine. It's our field. It's our field.
Now after the INT, it's Carr. That is caught inside the 5. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
Down. 180. I'm trying to collect.
That's caught at the 2. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. A 2-yard touchdown grab. And the Raiders take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash this one in. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the lead will swell by one more. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That'll be taken in the end zone. And not a good return here. He is brought down at the 7-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
A good start to the drive. Here's that's caught out on the left side. And they work this out past the 25. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
Brandon, at least there's one bright side to that incompletion.
What's that?
It wasn't an interception.
Wow. You're a nice guy. That was kind of savage. But correct. No pick, just incomplete that time. Now here's a throw right side taken in by his tight end. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34.
Obviously, this has not been a banner game throwing the football. So what you got to do, you got to kind of down focus, don't you think? Find the tight end, take some easier completions.
The interception last drive there. He hits the reliable target. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down. First down. Here's Cousins. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down. Tried to go back again to Adam Thielen. And that'll bring up second down. To the air again. It's Cousins. Throw left side on target to Thielen. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. A gain of 13. It's a first down.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
Throwing is Cousins. Well, it's caught on the right side. It's Smith. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. A gain of 6 there on first. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
It's a pickup of 17 and a first down.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. A slot receiver.
And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Carl Joseph. He's at the 50, the 40. He's at the 30. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Raider defense delivers a score. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
And they'll start in a hole here as he's brought down at the 11-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained. So they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Now he's going to go up top over the middle, and that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down.
I think this one offensively, this is one where you just say, let's move on. Let's not even watch the game tapes from this one.
Yeah, you might just want to throw it in the trash, act like it was never there in the first place.
Yeah, just say we're good. I actually have heard of a coach in the past who took his team out to the practice field.
And this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety. Things are just going from bad to worse now. It's a safety that does him in here, and that is one frustrated offensive unit.
They can't get out from under their own shadow right now. I mean, I know this is the NFL, but could you imagine a college crowd right now? Imagine what they'd be doing. They'd be chanting, "Start the bus," because they think this one is over.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Check.
Richard trying the right side. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Now Carr. He's going to look deep down the field. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
Finally, a good play there defensively on the deep ball. The secondary has had its struggles this entire game. Offensively, they've had their way with them.
On 1st and 10, Cousins. And nearly another interception. They've been around the ball all game. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden the secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
And now here is another interception. Picked up by Carl Joseph. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line.
I think that interception happened for 2 reasons. Quarterback gets outside the pocket and panics a little bit, and the receiver doesn't make sure he's absolutely in an open spot. So there's a guy lurking, took the ball from him.
Yeah, so don't wave your arms, right, as a receiver if you're not wide open. And this will be caught at the 30. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Now it's looking incredibly likely to be a 3-0 start to this season. That is obviously excellent. 2-0 is one thing. 3-0, you really have some momentum.
And now they're serving notice to the rest of the league that they're a pretty darn good football team. Confident, aggressive, attacking at all times. This looks like a team that you're going to have to deal with. And guess what? Behind closed doors, they're trying to figure out ways to get better.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. That's fielded in the end zone. Shifts by him. And able to take it past the 20 a little bit, but no further. A flag in there as well. Let's see what this is. Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that would look pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard, inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
Now Cousins. Eluding the pressure right. Trying to get, and he's taken down. Trying to do a little too much, getting outside of the pocket, and it results in a sack. Maurice Hurst able to get him for a loss of about 3. To try again after the sack. Cousins. And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Garyon Conley. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Raider defense delivers a score. Defensively, they've had their way in this one. That pick six makes that scoreboard even more lopsided.
I remember talking with a guy in the league, and I said, what do you do when the game's like this? You know, it's pretty much over. You ready to go to the bench and hang out? He said, oh, heck no. I want to stay on the field. I might get some stats. I might get a pick or two.
You like being out there at the end of these wide margins.
When they have to throw it, that gives you more opportunities to go get it.
And he'll go down at the 2-yard line. What a disaster there.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover. They want to try and put points on the board.
And he will double the space they have to work with as they take it from the 2 to the 4. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. On second down, it's Collins. And that won't buy him much room. Just a 1-yard gain to the 5.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays. Didn't amount to much.
And now facing a 3rd and long at the outset of this drive. Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target. Incomplete. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. Fighting through pressure. He's going deep for Brown. And this is caught inside the 5. A big play that time for the Raiders. 54 yards. Well, that didn't take long. 1 play, and we're already looking at a 1st and goal situation. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for Oakland, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they'll have another road date next week with the Indianapolis Colts. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they'll fall to 1-2. And they'll try and turn things around next week as they have a date at Soldier Field.